All right, so we're getting ready to talk about theoretical foundations when it comes to personal branding. So, wanted to take a quick second here, obviously, to just give a little bit of context and a mindset shift before we dive into this module here and look at these models that really explain how people build reputations, really a lot of times without even realizing that they're doing it. So, whether you're a nursing student, a rad tech in training, or just starting out, these theories they really help you understand how everyday behaviors are very powerful and they send very powerful messages to people, and they really do generate a very strong brand that is you. So it might be tempting to skip theory and just jump right into a bunch of practical tips, like hop on YouTube and see what they've got to say about personal branding. But here's the thing, theory, it gives us structure, right? It's a way to understand why people react the way they do, how impressions are formed, and really what we can do to build trust intentionally. So think of it like a blueprint, right? You can decorate a house all you want, but if you don't understand the frame holding it up, things are going to fall apart once they're under pressure. You need to understand the foundation of everything. So that's why we want to look at theory, because it provides us this blueprint for better understanding of these phenomena that we're talking about. So in healthcare, obviously, you don't get the luxury of a second first impression, right? This is a high stakes communication environment. So whether you're walking into a patient's room or responding to a supervisor or even like emailing a colleague, your tone, your presence, body language, all those things communicate something, right? We talked about that in nonverbal communication. Well, taking all of those things into mind, we have to be more aware of what we're doing, right? Because these theories, they're going to explain how those impressions are being formed, right? They're that not just yes, they do lead to people forming them. We're going to explain how this happens and how you can influence these kind of nonverbal cues, and you can influence the perceptions that people have with integrity, right? Not being fake, not doing those things, but actually with integrity. So one of the theories that we're going to look at comes from a sociologist named Irving Goffman, and he said that when it comes to social life, we are always on a stage, right? We're always like actors in a play. Now that doesn't mean that we're being fake. It means you're constantly managing impressions, especially in front of an audience of patients and coworkers, right? Think of your professional life as a performance, just like a play, right? We have a role to play, we have a script that tells us what to say, a director that basically tells us how to say it. Well, in life, when we're interacting with people, it's the same thing, right? We assume a role to play. The situation is relatively scripted based on the person we're talking to, and the society through different social norms. That's going to tell us how we should play our role, and it's how we handle those situations that really says something about us and forms impressions on people. So then we're going to explore a thing called identity theory. Now, this digs into your internal self concept. It says that those roles that we play that Goffman was just talking about, like, whether you're a caregiver, a student, a friend, a mother, a father, a brother, whatever it is that you are, they all shape how we behave. It's those roles that shape how we behave. If you see yourself as a future professional, you'll start to act more like a future professional. And that in turn, it helps others see you that way. They'll start to see you as a professional. And it's not just what you do, it's who you believe you are essentially with this, right? So looking inward and looking for that image that you have. And if you remember when we talked about persuasion, how we think and how we feel often controls how we behave. So we'll look at how juggling all of these different roles, whether again it's the student, the wife, the mom, the friend, the caregiver, the nurse, the rad tech, the brother, the daughter, the son, whatever it is that you are, juggling all those roles that we do, the way that we handle that and the mentality that we use when doing it and the role that we assume, it goes a long way to build that impression with other people. And then we're going to talk about the three C's of personal branding. It's like this framework for building a professional presence. And they're not just buzzwords. They're how reputations actually form in these real fast moving workplaces like healthcare, right? By being clear about who you are, about showing up consistently across different roles that you have, being constant, always being on point with what you do. That lets your behavior reinforce your brand over time. Really, a brand, as you'll see in that intro, it's just like a business has a brand, right? Like Nike or Netflix or Starbucks or whomever, they have a brand, and that is who we recognize them as. You do the same in your daily life without even noticing it. So really work on what that brand is. So here's the big idea. You already have a personal brand. So the way that you walk into clinicals, the tone of your emails, the way you follow up to take initiative, people are already forming impressions. So it's up to you to make sure that those impressions they form are in line with what you want them to be. So this chapter helps you really to take a look in the mirror and take control of that process. So let's dig into the theories so that you can shape your brand with purpose and not just by accident.